Hare Krishna. Welcome, dear devotees. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we are continuing our celebration for the wonderful Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So today we have with us Her Grace Yamuna Devi. Yamuna Devi is a disciple of Bhakti Caitanya Maharaj. And she has been serving as a pujari for over 10 years in StPetersburg, very close to Moscow. Am I correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Very close to Moscow. It's so wonderful to have you. Yamuna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances.
Accept my obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you.
Jai. Yamuna Devi has also curated the Bhakti-sastri course, and she assists His Holiness Bhakti Caitanya Maharaj in teaching or developing the course in the Russian language. They also have an English course in Bhakti-sastri. So she has been very actively not only studying, but also trying to preach Srila Prabhupada's books in the Russian-speaking countries. So thank you so much, Yamuna Prabhu, for joining us. It's such an honor. Please help us reflect on Lord Chaitanya's mood in his devotees. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Thank you, dear devotees, for organizing this whole celebrating of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's such an amazing event, and I've been relishing this event and these videos you are showing to us and interviews with the so advanced and honored devotees. And I'm very honored and I'm very happy to be here in your association and to talk to you as far as I can. And I really need your blessings today and now to be able to speak. And I hope you can understand my English. I hope so. And I will try my best. So let us recite our prayers and let us start to try to approach Lord Chaitanya and his mood and how his mood is reflected in his devotees. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Dvaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Dvaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Dvaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Sarasvati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashtitya Deshitarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, so I was reading Chaitanya Charitamrita from time to time, and every time I took the book, I found here and there in different places the expression of its author, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, that he doesn't even sure if he will be able to live till the end of the book. He doesn't sure if he is able to conclude his book, his writing on Chaitanya Charitamrita. And he also told that there are so many biographers, very exalted, elevated people, devotees of the Lord Chaitanya, who described Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, and still being kind of old-aged devotee, Srila Kaviraj Goswami still decided to write another book glorifying the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya and revealing his personality. And while reading this, I was thinking, why is he doing this? What was the need of writing another biography of Lord Chaitanya? I still don't have an answer for that question, but this was one of the questions I was asking to the book, to Lord. And then I was listening to interview of Radhanath Swami Maharaj. He was opening this session of events when we are celebrating and glorifying Chaitanya Charitamrita. And Radhanath Maharaj told that, actually it's well-known fact, that in the middle of writing and translating and purporting on Srimad Bhagavatam, and in the middle of his very intense traveling and establishing and helping with the development of ISKCON, Srila Prabhupada would take time to translate and to purporting Chaitanya Charitamrita. It is not that he scheduled it, that he had a free time, he didn't know what to do, and then he decided to give us this Chaitanya Charitamrita, but he took an extra effort. Srila Prabhupada took an extra effort to give us this Chaitanya Charitamrita. And this amazed me even more. And it even more shows us the importance of Chaitanya Charitamrita in our life. And I am really so grateful to Srila Prabhupada that he did it, that he gave us Chaitanya Charitamrita even before he translated and commented on the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Because of course that Chaitanya Charitamrita accepted to be the super elevated scripture, even higher than Srimad Bhagavatam. And we also advised to approach Chaitanya Charitamrita after we concluded Srimad Bhagavatam. But Srila Prabhupada, still out of his compassion, he gives us this Chaitanya Charitamrita. That's amazing. And also I like to hear the memories of the devotees, Srila Prabhupada disciples, who helped him to give us this Chaitanya Charitamrita, those devotees who edited and printed Chaitanya Charitamrita. You definitely remember that they did it within, I believe, 2 months. It was quite an intense work and quite an intense work. I think that it is my maybe most favorite pastime of Srila Prabhupada and his disciple, while Srila Prabhupada was present here in this world, in this universe, in this world. So it makes us understand that this book is very important, and this book is saturated, it is filled with compassion of so many devotees who made this book available for us, and it shows the special mood of the Lord, because this book is presented with this idea, with this mood of compassion. And that is very interesting because, when I was thinking about Lord Krishna, when he is being God, except in our service, quite often I think that he does it because he has to, because he's Lord, and he's compassionate because he's Lord, and he's accepting our service because we're his children, and kind of we can say it's his duty, it's his job to accept our service, just like a parent accepts the service of his children, his or her children, even though this service, the actual activity, may be not perfect enough, but still the parent appreciates the love rather than the actual result of the service. And the Lord does the same thing. And quite often, and we are thankful. It's really great that he does it, and that he has this compassion, that he accepts our imperfect service. Thanks God he is doing that. And I hope he will continue to do this further on. But still, from time to time, I was thinking, what is his immediate mood, his immediate feeling when we are serving him? What exactly he feels, how he sees us exactly. Not being so compassionate and understanding, and not being a God, but being a human, being a person, what he feels exactly. And it's quite difficult. For me personally, it's quite difficult to understand. But to give us this perspective, this understanding, Krishna comes as Lord Chaitanya. He comes as a devotee, and he shows us what does it mean to be a devotee, how it is to be a devotee. And he a little bit expresses to us his heart, his inner feeling, and we can understand him. And also not only him, so we can understand our relationships with him. But even that is very difficult. I find it very difficult. when I was first time reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, I found it very difficult to understand Lord Chaitanya, why he is doing different things and what he means by doing different things, different activities. And at this point, his associates and his servants, his devotees, helping so much to understand his feelings, because finally, they reflect his mood. They showing us his mood, his inner mood, the inside of his heart. They reveal it. Like for example, if you remember, when Lord Chaitanya was living in Jagannath Puri after he took sannyas, he was staying in Jagannath Puri, and once Sanatana Goswami came to visit him. At that time, Sanatana Goswami was already living in Vrindavan, doing his service in Vrindavan. Lord Chaitanya sent him there. And once Sanatana Goswami decided that he wanted to see the Lord again, Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya also wanted to see Sanatana Goswami. That is why Sanatana Goswami came from Vrindavan to Jagannath Puri by foot. It was a different time from now. They don't have any normal roads as we have today. They didn't have any trains or airplanes. They had to walk all the way from Vrindavan to Jagannath Puri, which is quite a distance. And he walked through the forest area, and somehow he got a disease, a skin disease. Somehow all his body was covered by the wounds, and the pus and all other discharges of the bodily fluid would come out of these wounds. And Sanatana Goswami was feeling that he is not good enough, he is not clean enough to come to see Lord Jagannath, to come inside the temple, the main temple of Jagannath Puri. And even that, a part of that, he was feeling that he is not clean enough to see Lord Chaitanya himself. Can you imagine that? He traveled all the way from Vrindavan to Jagannath Puri by foot, and now when he came and he finally reached Lord Chaitanya's place, he considers himself to be not clean enough to come and see Lord Chaitanya, even Lord Chaitanya. So he came to Haridas Thakur's place and he stayed with him and he lived with him for some time. And while going around Jagannath Puri, Sanatana Goswami never ever took the main road, because this road, if you're familiar with Jagannath Puri, this road is leading toward the main temple, the Jagannath temple, and Sanatana Goswami was thinking that Lord Jagannath's servants, his pujaris, took the same road to come in and out of the Jagannath temple, and if by accident they would touch him, they would touch his body, for him he decided to be contaminated. They would have to take bath again and change clothes, and it will interfere in their service to Lord Jagannath. That is why, out of humility, he decided to not go inside and not even approach Jagannath temple and not even approach Lord Chaitanya. This is the extent of humility a devotee expresses, a devotee has. This is extent of humility. But we also know, we all know who Sanatana Goswami is. It is the most elevated person, the closest associate of the Lord. And we know the story of Lord Chaitanya meeting with Sanatana Goswami for the first time. Lord Chaitanya himself came to Ramakeli, where Sanatana Goswami was living, and doing his service to meet him, to give him his association and to get Sanatana Goswami's association. And when meeting Sanatana Goswami, he met Sanatana and Rupa there. He told them that you're already my devotees, you're already my pure devotees since birth and even before that. And Srila Prabhupada, commenting that event in Chaitanya Charitamrita, said that Rupa Goswami did some writings, some Vaishnava writing on Vaishnava philosophy, even before he met Lord Chaitanya and accepted initiation from Lord Chaitanya. So these two brothers, Rupa and Sanatana, actually was initiated disciples of Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya himself considered them the most elevated devotees and the most elevated people. And even Lord Chaitanya asked Sanatana Goswami and Rupa also to explain to us, Kali Yuga people, the teachings of devotion. Who else, if not Sanatana Goswami, is good enough to have Lord Jagannath's darshan? Who else, if not Rupa Goswami, is good enough to enter inside the temple? But still, these servants, these pujaris in the Jagannath temple, they have their own rules. They have their own perspective on who can come inside and have the darshan. They consider that only Hindu people who would follow the Hindu religion since birth, who are Hindu people by birth, can come inside and can have darshan. This is their belief. This is their program. And this program is not quite correct. As we understand from Srila Prabhupada purpose and from Lord Chaitanya's teaching, this program is not quite correct. This smarter program is not helping, is not working quite properly nowadays. But still, Sanatana Goswami doesn't comes and tell, I am an initiated disciple of God himself, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and I am fit and I am prominent devotee. He doesn't say so. He considers himself to be a humble servant, and he really, truly, sincerely considers himself to not fit to come in and see Lord Jagannath. And also he accepts the rules of that temple of Lord Jagannath, and he appreciates the feeling of these people who are serving Lord Jagannath. And he doesn't feel any sorrow about that. It is not a problem for him at all. He was so happy. He and Haridas Kapoor, they both were so happy to have a darshan of the chakra on the roof of the Lord Jagannath temple. And it was the highest building in Jagannath Puri, the Jagannath temple, and the main dome of the Jagannath temple. And from each and every spot on Jagannath Puri, people might see the chakra. So Sanatana Goswami and Haridas Kapoor as well, that didn't even come closer to the temple to be able to see the chakra. They were receiving a darshan of Lord Jagannath's chakra from that place they are living in. And they were completely happy, completely satisfied. And this is the real understanding of Tattva, the real understanding of the Lord and the relationships between the Lord and his devotee, because they understand that it is the same, the quality is the same, the energy is the same, the Lord's weapon is the same as the Lord. There is no difference. And if you remember one of the pastimes of Srila Prabhupada, I've read in one of the memory books, I don't remember where it happened exactly, I believe somewhere in England, when Srila Prabhupada came to one of the temples and he was about to give class. And he was about to sit on the Vyasasana to give class. And Srila Prabhupada Vyasasana was in some distance from the altar. And one of the servants of the disciples wanted to serve Srila Prabhupada better, to comfort him. And he asked Srila Prabhupada, if you like, we can move Vyasasana closer to the altar, closer to the deities. And Srila Prabhupada looked at the deities, and by some chance, one fly was flying near Radha Krishna deities. And Srila Prabhupada pointed on that fly and told, do you think that this fly is closer to the Lord than I am? This is the reflection of Lord's mood and of Acharya's mood. Understanding the essence. Understanding that doesn't mean where we are. These circumstances, the situation doesn't matter. If we have a relationship with the Lord, we have a relationship with the Lord. And whatever conditions we are put it in, it is the perfect conditions for us. So Sanatana and Haridas Thakur are staying there in Jagannath Puri, not visiting Lord Chaitanya, not visiting Lord Jagannath. They completely happy and completely satisfied by receiving darshan of Lord Jagannath's chakra on the roof of the dome, of the main dome. And what is the reaction of Lord Jagannath? Do you know that? Of course you know that. Srila Prabhupada writes it in his purport. He says that the very same Lord Jagannath would every day come and visit Haridas Thakur and Sanatana Goswami. Lord Chaitanya, it was his program, it was his scheduled program. Every day he would go and see Lord Jagannath at the temple. He would receive his darshan, and afterwards he would personally come to see and to visit, to talk to Haridas Thakur and Sanatana Goswami when Sanatana stayed with him. Isn't that amazing? These two devotees are not allowed to come and see Lord Jagannath because someone decided that they are not good enough, that they are not fit in the standard. Someone decided that. But out of his compassion, out of his deep love to this devotee, Lord Jagannath himself, Lord Chaitanya, who is Lord Jagannath, comes and visits this devotee. And not only that, but he personally concerned to Haridas Thakur and Sanatana Goswami would accept and would receive Lord Jagannath Mahaprasadam every day. Sometimes Lord Chaitanya would send his servant to bring them Jagannath Mahaprasadam, and sometimes he would bring it personally. Can you believe that? So it shows that there is no restriction, no limitation for the Lord and his devotee to exchange relationships. Nothing is matter but this close and inner, deeper love between these two personalities. And when I was reading this, I was thinking that, yes, okay, of course it is so, because the devotee is meant to be humble. It is one of the most prominent features, characteristics of the devotee, this humility. And these two devotees, Sanatana Goswami and Haridas Thakur, they are most prominent devotees, one of the most prominent devotees. Of course they are humble. There is no surprise that they are humble. But then I suddenly, while reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, I found one text that says that at one point, Lord Chaitanya himself decided that he would never, ever again in his life come inside Jagannath temple. Did you know that, devotees? Of course you did. Of course you did. But it is amazing, because we all know the love and affection and attraction of Lord Chaitanya toward Lord Jagannath. It is so much that when Lord Jagannath, so-called, got sick, when he is not given his darshan, Lord Chaitanya travels to the other temple, Alalalak temple, because he cannot stay without his darshan, without his association. He cannot live without him. And this happened once when Lord Chaitanya came to see Lord Jagannath. He came to his darshan. It happened so he came alone, without his associate, without his servants. He came to see Lord Jagannath, and he was about to come inside the temple. He almost came inside the temple. It is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita. He was about to hold on Lord Jagannath. And at the same point, at the same time, he lost his consciousness. Emotions overwhelmed him, and he lost his consciousness, and he fainted on the floor. And when the guard of the temple saw this, he didn't understand who is this young sannyasi, what is he doing, why is he fainted in the temple. So he was about to beat Lord Chaitanya. Can you imagine that? He was about to beat him up. And by chance, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, one of the pujaris in the temple, was there, and he understood that this is not a common person, he is some elevated person, and he stopped that guard from beating Lord Chaitanya. But here still Lord Chaitanya is unconscious on the floor of Lord Jagannath temple, and he's not revealing any symptoms of living. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya doesn't even understand if this person is alive or not. And now the time for Bhoga offering for Lord Jagannath came, and they didn't know what to do. There is this sannyasi lying unconscious in front of the deities, and Bhoga offering is scheduled now, so what to do? Then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya asked his personal associates, his personal servants, to carry the body of Lord Chaitanya to his own house, to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house. And then they continued on with the service in Lord Jagannath temple, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya came to his house, and there was Lord Chaitanya lying unconscious. And after a while, he regained his external consciousness again. And there was a conversation between Lord Chaitanya and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, because Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya didn't understand yet that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Lord. He thought it is one of the nice, humble, sincere devotees. And he said that, I can teach you to be a sannyasi because you are so young and you took sannyas in such a young age. So I can teach you. Actually, Lord Chaitanya told him that you're superior to me. I'm your humble servant, so please instruct me and teach me. And then his first instruction, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's first instruction to Lord Chaitanya was, he said, it is not good for you to come and see Lord Jagannath alone. So don't do that again. You better take one of my assistant, one of my servant, and they will help you in case anything will happen to you again there. So don't go there alone. And there is a verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita when Lord Chaitanya decides that, he said that, actually, I will never, ever again come inside Jagannath temple. I will receive Lord Jagannath darshan from outside, from the courtyard where Garuda Stamba is. Can you believe this, devotees? Can you believe it? He expresses this topmost humility and understanding. He understood the mood of these servants of Lord Jagannath. He didn't want to interfere in their service. He didn't want to be an obstacle for their service. If there is a rule that you cannot faint in front of Lord Jagannath, then okay, I won't go there inside. And Srila Prabhupada, commenting this event, he writes that there are some symptoms of ecstasy, of ecstatic emotions when a person sees the Lord, when he receives the darshan of the Lord, and he feels these ecstatic emotions in different way, it reveals in our body. And this was manifestation of ecstatic emotion of Lord Chaitanya. This was the perfect darshan. This what we all want. We all want to have the perfect, the wonderful relationship with the Lord. And Lord Chaitanya expressed that. And even though out of his humility, he said, okay, I won't disturb anyone because I cannot control my ecstasy, my ecstatic emotions, my ecstasy, I cannot control that. Then I will not disturb all the other servants, all the other people who are serving there in the Jagannath temple. And that is wonderful. The same humility, the same understanding reveals his associates, Lord Chaitanya's associates. That is why Sanatana Goswami never came inside Jagannath temple, because he was thinking that I'm not fit enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough to come inside. That is amazing. That is wonderful. And there is a story, one time, while Sanatana Goswami was still living with Haridas Thakur in Jagannath Puri, Lord Chaitanya came as usual to visit them, to see them, and right on the spot, he turned to Sanatana Goswami and told him, if committing suicide would help me to be closer to the Lord, I would leave this body, my body, I would leave it hundreds and thousands of times. I would do that. But that is not helping. That is not helping to come closer to the Lord. Sanatana Goswami was amazed. And he, as Chaitanya Charitamrita says, he was concerned now that Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Lord, although he knew that before. Of course, he knew that before. But his secret mood, his secret feeling of Sanatana Goswami's secret intention was to commit suicide, because he was feeling himself so helpless. so helpless. Because his body was covered with these wounds, that he couldn't even come closer to Lord Chaitanya. He couldn't even serve to Lord Chaitanya because he was thinking that my body is useless, then me is useless. I am useless. So it was his intention to commit suicide by throwing his body, under the chariot of Lord Jagannath at the Rath Yatra time. But he never, ever expressed this idea to anyone, even to Haridas Thakur, to anyone. But Lord Chaitanya understood his feelings. He understood his heart. That is amazing. No, it's not, because he is omniscient Lord. It is easy for him to understand our hearts. But then Lord Chaitanya goes and says that your body belongs to me. What are you thinking you're doing? You're my servant, you're my disciple. Everything you have is mine, all your possession is mine, and your body is also mine. And I have my own plans for this body. How can you destroy this body? Why are you destroying someone else's property? And then he turns to Haridas Thakur and he starts to joke. Haridas Thakur saying that, what are you thinking of him? See how he is going to act, what he is going to do, destroy someone else's property. How do you call these people who destroys and steals someone else's property? That is wonderful, because the Lord here, before he showed us this surrender to the Lord, and he showed us his humility, and now the mood is completely changed. He says, I am the proprietor of everything, even your body. And that is very important because, we know from Bhagavad Gita and from all other scriptures that the Lord is the proprietor, the owner of everything. Yes, but we need our body. We are so much attached to our body, and we do have the reasons for that. Because if we don't have this body, how can we say, do the service? Not mentioning the other things. But the Lord says, no, this is my body, this is my property, you are mine. That is interesting. That is very close. And then Sanatana Goswami replies in the most amazing way. He said that to the Lord. He said, I am like a wooden doll who dances under the will of the magician, saying that, I'm not only your property, but you can use this property, this yours property, in any way you want to, and I will dance as you want to. Isn't that wonderful? No, it's not, because it's our usual situation, it's a normal situation. In every Shastra, we read that we are the servants of the Lord, and the servant is obliged. He has to do whatever the master wants to. It's the usual situation. Yes, it is the usual situation, but on the other occasion, some say month, maybe later, Lord Chaitanya decided to go to pilgrimage to South India on the pretext to find his elder brother, although he knows already that his elder brother left his body. But on this pretext to find his elder brother, Lord Chaitanya decided to go to pilgrimage. His actual intention was to give mercy to those people of South India. But anyway, he's going. He is off his way. And he asks his associate, his servants, to please allow me to go. I need to do that. And they don't happy with this. They don't want him to go. At least they don't want him to go alone. And Lord Nityananda comes to Lord Chaitanya and says, no, you can't go alone. No, at least take some servant with you. And then Lord Chaitanya gives a wonderful reply, the most amazing reply that the Lord can ever give to his servant. Because Lord Chaitanya is the mood of the servant. And actually Lord Chaitanya expresses the mood of all other associates of Lord Nityananda expressed the mood of all other associates of Lord Chaitanya. They didn't want him to go, or if he is insisted in going to the pilgrimage, at least he has to take some servant with him. But Lord Chaitanya says, I'm like a dancer, and you is a wire puller. You means you all your devotees. You like a wire pullers. And however you pull the wire, in the same way I dance. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? The Lord is so much surrendered to his devotees that he says, I do whatever you want. Whatever you desire, I just fulfill your desires. I am so much yours. I'm your property. Can you imagine that? And the same idea, the same mood we find in Srimad Bhagavatam, in 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where the young child pastimes of Lord Krishna described. It is said that sometimes it had happened even before Krishna went out herding the calves. It is described how Mother Yashoda's friends, girlfriends, would come to see Krishna and to play with Krishna, and some of the lady would say, Krishna, if you dance for me, I will give you a half of a sweetmeat. And Krishna would dance. Sometimes they asked him to bring some things, and he would bring some things. He brought shoes for his father, putting on his head. He brought his shoes for his father. Can you imagine that? And it says in Srimad Bhagavatam, it says that he was like a doll in their hands. Krishna, the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Godhead, proprietor of everything, was like a doll in the hand of his devotees. That is amazing. That is wonderful. And if you remember, devotees, when Srila Prabhupada came to America for the first time, it is described in one of the memory books. When he came for the first time and he came out of the ship in New York, he wrote a poem, and one of the lines of that poem was that, okay, you brought me here, so make me dance as you like. And when I was reading this poem and this line of the poem, I was thinking that, yes, okay, it's a nice poetic expression of humility and surrender. And okay, yes, it is very appropriate for a devotee. The devotee should do that. But when I see that the very same mood has the Lord himself, the Lord himself considers him to be a wooden doll or a doll in the hands of their devotees, that is wonderful. That shows us how closely connected the Lord and his devotee. That the spirit is the same, the nature is the same. As Srila Prabhupada explains to us in Bhagavad Gita, that we are the same energy as the Lord. Absolutely the same. Qualitatively is the same, quantitatively different, but qualitatively is the same. It is amazing. It shows us this amazing, amazing connection, very deep connection. That there is relationships, but there is both sides to relationships. We can feel almost, particularly the same as Krishna feels. That is wonderful. And to go on with the story, I will tell you some more stories about the Lord Chaitanya. At the very same event, when he was going to leave Jagannath Puri, going to pilgrimage, Lord Chaitanya said, he was speaking of Jagannatha Pandit, he said that, I do whatever he wants to. I do whatever Jagannatha wants to. And out of fear, I have to do it. Can you imagine that? The Lord accepts the service of his devotee out of fear. That is amazing relationships between Jagannatha and Lord Chaitanya. And it is so close. It is so amazingly close that the Lord himself, the Lord, expresses anger in this relationship. Can you ever believe, can you ever imagine the Lord express anger? I'm not saying of him expressing anger towards demons. That's common, that's usual, and thanks God he's doing that. Can you imagine the Lord, this all-loving Lord, with the most soft heart would express anger toward his devotee. And it happened once. Once Jagannatha came to see Lord Chaitanya, and before that he did a very special fragrant sandalwood oil. And he brought it to Lord Chaitanya. It was a huge amount of oil in a big pot. So he personally made this oil and he personally brought this oil to Lord Chaitanya, and he handed it over to Govinda, to Lord Chaitanya's servant, and asked him to give it to Lord Chaitanya to use this oil. Govinda came to Lord Chaitanya explaining what is going on, and Lord Chaitanya said, no, I can't use this oil. No way. Because I'm a sannyasi, what do you want me to do? If I would walk around smelling with this fragrant oil, people would think that I'm associated with women, and what will be the value of my sannyasa? No, he said, no, give it away. But Govinda didn't want to give it away. And some days after, Govinda came again and said, still we have this oil for you? Lord Chaitanya said, no, I will not accept this oil. You should give this oil to the priests, the pujaris of Lord Jagannath, and they will use this oil in Lord Jagannath's service, and in this way, Jagadananda's service will be accepted. So do that. Govinda didn't. And third time, Govinda came to Lord Chaitanya, reminding him on that oil, and now, this time, Lord Chaitanya got angry. He said, if you ever again tell me about this oil, I will leave you. I will leave Jagannath Puri at the moment, and you will never ever again see me. Govinda was afraid, and so he told that about this to Jagadananda. Jagadananda didn't say anything. And one time Jagadananda came to see Lord Chaitanya, not saying anything about the oil situation, nothing. But Lord Chaitanya told, Jagannatha, thank you so much for bringing me this oil, but I'm a sannyasi, I cannot accept this oil. I'm not using the perfumes. And Jagannatha said, who told you this nonsense? I never, ever brought you any oil. And then at the same spot, Jagannatha turns around, goes to the storehouse, takes this pot of this oil and smashes on the ground at the same house. Then he turns away, goes out, comes inside his own house, closes the door from inside, lies down on the bed, and for 3 days he wouldn't come out. He wouldn't eat, he wouldn't come out, he wouldn't do anything. How do you like this exchange of anger between Lord and his devotee? How do you like that? That is wonderful, that is wonderful, because they are so close that the Lord is not limited in expressing his feelings. He is not limited. He is not obliged to be Lord, always settled, always calm and nice. He can freely express his emotions. It's fine. And the devotee can bear this emotion, can tolerate this emotion, and can reciprocate it according to this emotion. But afterwards, in 3 days, Lord Chaitanya came to Jagadananda's house. He would scratch the door. He would knock the door and say, Jagadananda, would you please feed me? I'm going to Jagannath temple to have darshan of Lord Jagannath, but after I come back, will you please feed me? Please cook for me. I want lunch from you. What did Jagadananda? He jumped out of his bed. He quickly took bath. He put on the new clothes and he rushed to the kitchen to cook prasadam, lunch for Lord Chaitanya. And he did. Then Lord Chaitanya came back, and Jagannatha now serving Lord Chaitanya his lunch. And it is amazing the way he was serving. So he put the banana leaf in front of Lord Chaitanya. He put rice there, the pile of rice, and different subjects and other vegetable preparations. And not only that, on the separate plate or on the separate leaf, he put separately Jagannath Mahaprasadam, because he knew that Lord Chaitanya is fond of Jagannath Mahaprasadam. He likes it very much. He knows the heart of his beloved Lord so nice that his desire is beyond the desire of Jagannatha himself. He separately put this very special Mahaprasadam. And what happened then? Lord Chaitanya would eat some portion of food, he would eat. And when he emptied the bowl of whatever preparation was there, half, then Jagannatha would put again more. And 10 times it happened, 10 times. Lord Chaitanya would eat out of fear to not upset Jagannath. Can you imagine that? The Lord accepting his servant's service out of fear to not disappoint him, to not upset him. That is wonderful. That is this most wonderful event. And in the same way, the devotees of the Lord serves him back. They don't want to upset the Lord. They are so much concerned of the Lord. If you remember when Krishna decided that he is grown up enough and he wants to go out to feed the cows, to herd the cows, it was a disaster for all the residents of Vrindavan, even the cows himself. It was a disaster. They didn't want him to hurt himself outside in the fields. That is why they were preparing everything on Vrindavan. They smashed all the rocks, big and small rocks, they smashed into the soft dust because they were afraid of him hurting himself. So these pastimes are so amazing that even these feelings, kind of negative feelings as anger or fear, they can be engaged in Krishna's service. And even Lord himself can express this emotion positively in the association of his devotees. That is wonderful. That is very unusual, and that shows us, that reveals us the mood of the Lord, the inner mood, the immediate mood of the Lord, the actual mood. And it helps us to understand where from we shall get these qualities. We all know the quality, the Vaishnava qualities. It is listed in Nectar of Devotion. Okay, good. Where shall we get it from? How? If we are for so many lifetimes are entangled here in this material world, and we do not know what is humility, what is compassion, what is understanding, how to express it, how come? But yes, we have it. We have it because it is our nature, and we can find it. We can teach it, study it from Lord Chaitanya's associate and from Krishna's associate also. All the devotees expressing these feelings and these emotions and these qualities because these are the qualities of the Lord. That is the most amazing thing I find in, personally, for my benefit, I find in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Hare Krishna devotees, I think it's too much time I was taking your attention. If we have any further comments or questions.
Thank you so much, Yamuna Devi, for such a wonderful, beautiful description of the Lord's mood. I was wondering, we have a couple questions here. Okay. I was wondering if you would like to. So here we have Arjit. Arjit Prabhu is asking, how can we progress towards the devotional mood which the devotees of Mahaprabhu had towards him? So how can we actually develop the same mood that the devotees that were in the presence of Mahaprabhu had for him? How do we develop, if you would like to?
Yeah, thank you so much. It's a very interesting question. It's a very important question. And when we're reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Bhagavatam, any scriptures, if we read the scriptures, quite often in the end of each chapter, the author says that if you would read this story or narrate this story to the others, you will accept the blessings of the Lord. You would accept the blessing of the Lord and you would reveal the same mood. And it's on the surface, it's look kind of not logical enough. Like, they say that all the demons Krishna killed in Vrindavan that are listed in Srimad Bhagavatam, it's our anarthas, and we can counteract these anarthas by reading about these demons, how it works. How by reading about Putana I can overcome my mind? How is that possible? But that is possible. This is how it works, really. If we really sincerely read these books, we don't have to do any extra efforts. No need. Krishna does all the job for us. We just need to absorb in this mood, to read these pastimes, to read these stories, and discuss it with among ourselves, among our friends, and to give these stories to the others. That helps. I believe me, that helps. So Srila Prabhupada books is enough. Really, it's enough. His purpose is enough. And he shows us every time in each and every his purport, he shows us how to become a devotee, really. So me personally, this is my practice. I'm not doing any extra things. I'm too lazy to do that.
I understand. Thank you so much. That was a wonderful point you mentioned about focusing on reading Srila Prabhupada's books and diving deeper. Just following to that question, I was wondering, do you have any practical tips as to how you take your sadhana while reading? Srila Prabhupada said that daily we should do something. How do you keep in touch with Srila Prabhupada's books on a regular basis?
Recently, your team had a project of daily reading of Srila Prabhupada books. Do you remember that in September you had so? And I was watching these videos because I have a problem with reading. I don't like reading at all. It's not my favorite service at all. And I was listening to these devotees who participated in that. And they, helped me because they showed that reading is not sadhana in the bad ways. Saying sadhana, when we say sadhana, we think that this is something we don't like to do, but we have to do. But sense gratification is something else. So we do sadhana, and then finally, after doing sadhana, there is a time for gratifying senses. But when we see that reading books is sense gratification, it is actually so. Then it changes. The whole point is changes. Like, for example, in one interview, it was, I believe, I don't remember. Anyway, one of the Maharajas told that his favorite book is Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila. When I was listening to that, I said, what? Is it possible to be so? Because it is my favorite part also. But I was thinking that you should read Chaitanya Charitamrita from first word to the last word. But I am sorry, I am such an offender, but still the Antya Lila is Adi Lila, it's a little bit difficult for me to reading. But Madhya Lila is like, this sweet meat. And I said, okay, if he allows himself to do so, then why I cannot do this the same? So I started to read Madhya Lila from the point I was interested in, and it is such a nectar, So, and also I heard from many of Srila Prabhupada disciples that you can pick any Srila Prabhupada books you like and read anything you like. Then everything changes, right? Absolutely. So I would, my personal experience is to read what you like, what you're interested in, to read and to see how Srila Prabhupada shows us Lord Krishna's pastime. It's really wonderful. And recently I was reading Caitanya Bhagavatam because I had the source, I had to prepare some talk about Lord Chaitanya from Caitanya Bhagavatam. And I noticed that I missed Srila Prabhupada purports. It's not enough for me to read just, although it has some purpose, but I miss Srila Prabhupada words because I don't know what is going on, what is happening here. So I ended up reading Chaitanya Charitamrita anyway.
So you realize that, to understand the inner mood of Chaitanya Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Prabhupada's purports are like a torchlight.
Right.
And there's so much insight into the beauty of the verse. Right. So thank you so much. There's a lot of devotees appreciating your talk. And thank you so much for bringing this wonderful energy. Anything else that you would like to highlight in your practice and as a curator for study courses? Like you mentioned, you've struggled sometimes to read.
Right.
And many of us, in our busy lives, sometimes we struggle we struggle to read, we struggle to, focus on studying Srila Prabhupada's books. Anything else that you would like to highlight would be appreciated.
I want to say, I think the well-known words that it is a real nectar. Nectar is inside Srila Prabhupada words, even more than in Krishna's words. Forgive me, Krishna, for saying that, but for me it is so. And we need to somehow infect it with this mood from those people who are already infected, who are already sick and diseased with this mood of studying Srila Prabhupada books and reading Srila Prabhupada books. And now we are doing Bhakti-sastri with Bhakti Caitanya Maharaja. And I was doing Bhakti-sastri before. It's not the first Bhakti-sastri course for me. But what I found in Maharaj's approach, he would read Srila Prabhupada purports, paragraph after paragraph, and that's it. He didn't do anything else. He didn't show anything else, and it was the whole universe, the absolutely different universe for us. When we know not only in which verse whatever we know said, but in which paragraph said, and how one paragraph is connected to the other paragraph, it's really nectarian to be in the association of the person who likes studying and who loves Srila Prabhupada and who loves Lord Chaitanya, Lord Krishna. So I would wish to all of us to find these people and to connect with them as much as possible.
That's a very wonderful point that you made. Studying in study groups and with devotees who have developed some taste in reading Srila Prabhupada's books and understanding the deeper meaning of his purpose. Right. So that's a wonderful point that you made. Thank you so much, Yamuna Devi, for joining us all the way from St. Petersburg, Russia.
It's a pleasure for us. Thank you.
And we feel really inspired that you have made the time to join us. And we hope you will continue to join us. Thank you so much. And thank you so much to our viewers for joining us today. And like I've mentioned before, we've been continuing to bring wonderful speakers from different parts of the world to share and inspire us to take to celebrating Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, or actually diving deeper into studying Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life and prepare the mood for the upcoming Gaur Purnima festival. So thank you so much. I request all our viewers to take a moment, and you can subscribe to our newsletter at www.gbcspt.com. You can see that flashing on our screen right here. This will keep you updated about all our events. We have 4 more weeks leading up into Gaur Purnima, where you're going to be continuing to hear wonderful Krishna Katha coming from so many wonderful speakers all over the globe. And we're really looking forward to your participation. Thank you so much, Yamuna Devi, for joining us.
Hare Krishna.
And thank you so much to all our viewers. Hare Krishna.